Hello everybody and welcome to my casting everyday challenge. Give me 1 second as I fix this. There, now it's perfect. But welcome to this day. I'm not really 100% sure what day it is. Like I've said in a past one, I think it's like 66, 67 right now. I've been very busy right now, have tests coming up, and I just realized this is still not perfect. So let me just fix this in the meantime. On the fly, why not, right? You get to see a little bit behind of the OBS works, which is extremely easy. I'm just moving stuff around, just sliders. So this is the game still in the, I believe this is the quarterfinals of the latest Hearthstone tournament. And I'm probably going to go through this entire series. I don't know yet, but it's going to be Frozen versus X-Hope. And sorry that I'm busy. I can only do one really game at a time. So we might get through all this match. If it's a best of 7, maybe not. We'll have to see. But it's going to be Frozen's Priest versus X-Hope's Shaman. So with the Priest, I've noticed is that these games go on for a very long time. And that's mostly because the Priest's game plan is just to make it to the late game, just try to outvalue your opponents. Because the one thing about the Dragon Priest lineup is that it just has such high health minions that it's so hard to trade with. You're always going into awkward trades, it seems like, no matter what you are. And even as a Shaman, they're going to have to waste a lot, because if you see the 4-mana Twilight Guardian in the hand, that still takes 6 damage to deal with, and I don't think there's a spell in X-Hope's decks, unless he's running with Lava Burst, that's going to have any way of dealing that with just one spell. Okay, there's Hex as well, as we see in the hand, but that's a very weak Hex target in my opinion, but he might have to do it just to get through it. And this is where the Shaman does really struggle, because they have a lot of low-cost spells that don't deal too much damage. They have a lot of nice AoE. They have a little bit of nice burst here and there, but just not enough in order to be too beneficial against the Priest lineup. It's just too tough for them to get through it, and I feel like the Shaman's really at a disadvantage here, and that is if the Priest can draw well. We do see in their hand that he's still going to have turn after turn. Now, this is the one thing that does suck about Priest, though, is you can have a dead turn like this one, and that is one thing you can't have as a Priest. You need to be able to continually dish out those minions and just keep getting a board that your opponent has to clear but has a rough time doing. But if you have no turn, then that really sucks. You're not going to be able to do too much. The only thing that I could see here is if he's going to go ahead and Pain at the Tunnel Trog, but that is a very, very weak turn. You don't have to waste your pains this early. Like I said, you want to just put out minions and force your opponent to make awkward trades. Now, next turn, we do see the Brightwing Technician, I believe that card, the 3-mana drop. That's a 3/5 if you have a dragon in your hand, so that is going to really, really help him out for the next turn, but just no turn 2 play. This is the only thing that really draws him back. He doesn't have any Wormrust agents or anything like that, and that is going to slow him down, and this is what the Shaman does need to get back in this game. But we see out of the hand that he has, he's going to be overloaded, and he really doesn't have a play next turn either. So we'll have to see what Frozen thinks. Is he going to just play it slow, just hold off? But no, he's going to throw down that Pain, it looks like. Good thing to keep his health total pretty safe. I don't think he needed to do that, but this is seeing from the end that X-Hope does not have a turn 3 play here. He has either throw out a Tunnel Trog, which he has nothing to buff it right now. He has no overload cards in his hand, or he goes ahead and uses his hero power, but that is fairly weak in this for turn 3. He has to hope to get, and honestly, I don't even know what totem he would be hoping for at this point. Maybe just a Stoneclaw, because the taunt is always good. Because even right now, you see that he has no spells in his hand that will deal damage. The spell power has really no benefit of coming out on the field, and we all already know the healing totem not going to do much. You have a 1/1 out, and the other 1/1 totem is not going to do too much. So this is one thing that has been pretty interesting, is the class hero win rate, is that Warrior is on a little bit of a slump. Now, I think the reason why that is because a lot of people have been teching, or a lot of people have been banning the Warrior, and if they're not banning the Warrior, then they're teching against it. So the ones that don't ban Warrior, so the times that Warrior actually gets to see play, the guys' decks are good against it. So that's why the low win rate. But Shaman, it's really hard to deal with them because they have such good early game, and with the Jades, they even have an amazing late game as well. So you have to really just win the mid game, which that's where the Priest does come in at. But the thing that does suck about this matchup that I didn't really talk about, that I kind of just remembered actually, is that the one thing is Priest really has a rough time of closing games. So they have to just play the value game overall and just continually deal damage when they can. But as we see right now, that the Jade count is already at 2. We have see the Aya as well, so we'll probably be seeing that coming down on turn 6 here. And that's just going to make that Jade so much more harder to deal with as the game goes on. And I think Frozen realized at this point that he has to start dealing with them in some way. He might have to start dealing with the board as well, because a Bloodlust could come out, and this is one of the best Bloodlusts you'll see out of X-Hope. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does just use that on turn 5, because that's 12 damage that he probably won't be getting down the line. So if he uses it now, it's not really that too much of a waste. But it is Frozen's chance to do something right here, and if he wants to clear, the only thing he can do here is coin out the Blackwing Corruptor, but that's still only clearing out a 2-3, not really all that worth it. In my opinion, what the best case here is to probably throw down the Twilight Guardian, clear off with the Technician that's already out, and then you have that Dragonfire Potion in hand if need be. But one thing I kind of forgot about is the Draconid Operative. Now this is going to make it so that the Twilight Guardian cannot be used, and he just snaps that brand. I kind of didn't even see what the other ones were, but he knew instantly that the brand was the best choice, so he went with it. But we do see that he has no other dragons in his hand, so he actually can't use the Twilight Guardian. Luckily, he can still use the Blackwing Corruptor because the Twilight Guardian in itself is a dragon. But he's not able to use he's not able to throw down that big taunt, which could have dealt with pretty easily everything that's on the board here. If Exope would have wanted to use it, he would have to go ahead and use that Hex to go through it. So we do see that it would have been good to throw down that Twilight Guardian. But one thing to also keep in mind is that Hex might just go on this Draconid Operative. So this is when Exope has actually a really tough decision here, is how he wants to try to deal with the board. Does he want to just try to push face damage, which right now it's only 5, not really all that worth it? Or does he want to try to clear? But as we said earlier, it's really tough for him. He's making awkward clears, and that's the big thing about Priest. They have such big health minions, and it's just so awkward to try to get through them. And I really don't see a good play out of Exope here. He might have to use the Bloodlust to try to go through, but he's just going to try to brute force his way through this Technician, and it's costing him so much of his board, and that Hex is going to be used as well. So great job by Frozen to get the most out of that Draconid Operative, and then also get a Hex, because that just means the Twilight Guardian is going to have its full value out there, but he doesn't find a dragon. That is actually pretty bad. He's still going to be able to clear what's on the board with his Blackwing Corruptor, but he might want to say that for a potential Aya down the line. But he just wants to throw it down. The damage that it comes from is going to be good to clear up this Jade Spirit, but that's probably going to just be a very, very quick Aya out of the side from Exope. Drawing that Jade Lightning, though, he now has other options. He can now clear off that Blackwing Corruptor very easily, but he just wants the Jade count to keep going. And I really do like this play, because even though Frozen can get a value trade, he can get 2 minions for the 1 that's out there, it is going to now allow Exope to get the big Jade when he's able to clear the board with that Jade Lightning now. Not just a tiny Jade, and that's the end of his turn. He has now going to get a 4-4 out once the Aya is down. And with that pickup of a Twilight Guardian, Frozen is actually going to be able to throw that down and have a big taunt on the board. And then next turn could even Cabal Talon Priest if it survives. And he will probably see Exope. He'll probably use his... Oh, this is actually a good choice of who he wants to trade the Corruptor into. I really do like the value trade that he could do, because it's either going to cost Exope's... Like, if he uses some sort of AoE, that's fine. You were at least able to clear something off. But Frozen has a lot of options here. He still also has the Power of Pain that he could use. He doesn't even have to go for the value trade. He could still clear 2 here and just use one of his spells. The only problem is that is his last Shadow Word Pain, but what else is there to Shadow Word Pain besides totems? Like, granted, there is that Flame Tongue, there is that, I can't think of the other one, but the one that draws cards, there's that totem in the deck as well, but looks like he's going to go for extreme value trades and actually leave the Aya up. Not sure if I agree with leaving Aya up, but I think he just doesn't want to have to deal with a 4-4. He'll rather deal with a 5-3 and deal with that 4-4 later. So that's probably why he's doing it. And if you look, actually, if we do see Exope kind of play a lot of big minions here and try to make a big board, he's going to be able to use that Dragonfire Potion. So is Exope actually going to play around that? And one way to play around that is just to use the Azure Drake, because that won't be taken out because the Dragonfire Potion only hits non-Drake targets. So you'll see both the Twilight Guardian and the Twilight Drake not take any damage from that. Or the Azure Drake, sorry. So Exope here. Quite a bit of decisions. He doesn't really have any way to clear that Twilight Guardian effectively, but he has to try to do something right now, and sadly if he throws the Aya into it, it doesn't even die, and the Jade Lightning wouldn't kill it either. Even if he does roll Spell Power Totem as well, he's only going to be able to do 5 damage, but he feels like getting rid of that Corruptor is the best choice of action here. And it looks like he might hold off on an Aya, maybe see what he gets out of the totem, and it's just a healing totem, which right now not going to be too efficient. And the one thing I like out of this play is that Frozen can completely clear the board with that Dragonfire Potion, or he could just make himself have two big taunts now with that Twilight Guardian and Cabal Talon Priest. Now, he might want to try to save Talon Priest for when he's able to brand Talon Priest, which he can actually just do that this turn as well and get himself an extremely big Twilight Guardian here. It'd be a 3/12. That's going to be extremely difficult to go through. And we already saw X-Hope use a Hex. I'm not even sure if X-Hope has 2 Hexes in his deck. And you go by thinking Frozen, he most likely does not have 2 Hexes. There's no way you kept 2 Hexes. The chances of you drawing it, at this point, you still only went through 10 cards. It's kind of low that you drew that second Hex. So I would actually like the double Cabal Talon Priest here. And it means that because you just use J-Lightning, that this brand is most likely going to stay on the board. I would say just make a really, really big Drake at this point. But Frozen looks like he's just going to double up on the Drakes, and he's not going to use that brand combo there. He's just going to go ahead and throw out that 3 and get a 3/9 out of that, and just clear off the totem, kind of playing around not only Bloodlust, but also playing around the Flame Tongue totem. But that devolve is huge. That is exactly what X-Hope needed. So not good cards either coming out from Frozen. Those are really lowballing it. Almost all of them. Like, the Wind Fury is just low stats because that's how Wind Fury cards are, but the other two, they had Battle Cries to summon other token minions, and those are so weak now compared to what they could have been. Just a huge devolve working out for X-Hope. And now this allows him to just completely value trade what's on the board, and this puts Frozen in a very, very awkward spot. The Dragonfire Potion's still in hand, so if we do see X-Hope overload the board and try to just say, hey, I'm going all in at this point, I'm just going to throw down the board and see if you have an answer, if the Dragonfire Potion is going to be used, that is the answer that he might just need, and we are going to see it come out. And will the Dragonfire Potion come out this turn? If Jinyu comes out, I'm almost going to guarantee, yeah, I feel like this is a Dragonfire Potion turn, and you're going to want to clear off Aya first, so you could still clear off that 5/5 Drake as well. I feel like that is the play at this point. And I think Frozen thinks the same way here. He's going to clear the board of everything except the Jinyu, which will remain on the board as a 3/1, which the 12 will go in nicely against. So, don't know how much I actually agree with throwing that Whelp down. He really didn't want that Jinyu to stay on the board. It's going to be a very easy target there, and that's just one less Dragon Activator that Frozen can have, because he's most likely going to want to use this Azure Drake to draw. He's probably going to use the Bran as well to draw 2 cards, because he's really running out of cards, so he does need to go fishing in the deck to try to find some things. And this is looking really good for X-Hope, as the Priest is running out of resources, and he has barely done anything. He actually doesn't even have board control. When the Priest runs out of resources and doesn't have board control, you know that the game is going in your favor. And now X-Hope, all he has to do is play the value game. He has to realize that the Jades are in his favor as this game goes later and later, and Frozen is just not going to be able to find the options, especially with that Brand in the hand. You're going to be able to double up your next golems. That is just going to be massive, and this is kind of desperate for Frozen. He does need to find something off of this draw, but with only 1 mana left, I doubt he's going to be able to use anything. And he just gets an Agent and a Death, but there's nothing on the side so far of X-Hope to Death. He just drew that thing below, so there is going to be something soon. But now, how does X-Hope want to deal with the board? Does he want to try to clear off the Brand, which I feel like he almost has to, but he is going to leave the Drake up, so there is going to be something staying on the board unless X-Hope really wants to do something crazy like Flame Tongue Bloodlust, which it would be just dumb if he does that, so I doubt that's going to happen. So I think it's going to be most likely just throwing it into the Brand and maybe Flame Tonguing for some extra face damage, and then throwing out that thing from below as well. I wonder if he has to realize that he might have to play around the Shadow Word Death. Because if you throw down the Totem Golem next to the Azure Drake, that makes it a 6 attack minion. That means the Drake or the Death can deal with it. And I just realized that this wasn't. This is actually losers of their group. So I thought this was quarterfinals, but no, it's actually losers of their group right now. So the winner of this will move on to the quarterfinals, and it's a big game because, as they've been saying in the broadcast earlier, that the winner or the top 4 gets to go to BlizzCon, or let's go to the end of the year championships, and that's what you want to go for, and that's what they're both fighting for at this point. Frozen, very desperate, is actually going to heal the Drake to draw 2 cards. You know you're ahead of the Priest when he has to heal your dragons to get some board control. That Holy Nova can help out, but he needs some big minions, and the Blackman Corruptor, not exactly what he needs at this point in the game. And I think that's just going to be, death on the thing from below and trade at the Drakes. And just look at Exop here. He's in such a good position at this point. And it's just looking worse and worse for Frozen as the game goes on. He's trying to hope that the agent does protect his board, but there's no dragon in hand. So it's just a 1/4 on the board, and that's extremely weak, actually. Not really too much that he could use that for. And the only thing that's helping for Frozen right now is that Exop's not drawing too well either. He has the Bloodlust for the end of the game, burst damage if he has minions on board, and he has the Jade Lightning that he just drew, and there's not really a good Jade Lightning target. At least that's one on the board. He's probably going to use that for the Corruptor when it comes down. So, will he trade into the Agent? The only thing he does have to realize, he's going to draw so many cards if he does that, though. Now I realize why Frozen put this down. It's a little bit of a bait. Because if Exhope now value clears into that Agent, that Healing Totem is going to give Frozen 4 cards. And even if he clears into one of the Agent, or one of the Clerics, he's still going to draw 2. What a heads-up play by Frozen. And I think Exhope finally realized what's going on. And what is Exhope going to do about that? And he's going to use a Bloodlust to clear both of them out. That is still a big win for Frozen. Yes, that was just a huge heads-up play from Exhope, not playing into that. But because of that, that's a Bloodlust down. And now the Brand is on the board as well. If Frozen can find the right things to go through this board, it's going to work out for him. And he draws a Dragon! And a Bookworm at that. Sadly, the Bookworm can't be used. But with the Holy Nova and the Corruptor, he could completely clear the board. That was a massive top deck there, as he needed something to get that Dragon Activator off. And with that Holy Nova as well, that's going to completely clear the board, and the Brand is now gone. That's going to really cut into Exhope's Jade count, as luckily he does have the Jade Lightning, but at this point, that's going to be all. That's a lot of his burst now gone. He's not going to be able to use that to go face. That's a 6/6 on the board. Frozen now needs to deal with that, and his Shadow Word Death was already used. So this is probably just going to be a Blood Mage Thalnos, and just leave it up, try to get that, because you need card draw at this point. You're not really going to use it for the spell power. You have to hope that you could high roll some of the totems. You just right now need card draw. That 6/6 on the board is going to be pretty handy down the line. But yeah, you need to get more cards right now. Only have a Flame Tongue, that's not going to be enough. And wow, another Spider Historian. He's going to get himself another Dragon, and he gets an Operative. But does he want the Guardian instead? No, that's definitely the Operative at this point. The Guardian doesn't really deal with the board at all because of the 6/6 there. And a Hex! Oh, he might want to go Mana Tide for the card draw, but I think Hex is going to be perfect for as this game goes later and later. He's going to be able to deal with these big Jades now, at least one of the Jades. And we have to think, what else does Hex hope to use Jades for? He already used one Jade Spirit. He used both of his Lightning Spirits. He used one of his Jade Claws. But he still has both Jade Chieftains left. He has 2 Jade Chieftains. He has Jade Spirit as well as a Jade Claws. So he has at least 4 more Jades coming out. So he should be able to get roughly a 10-10 amount of Jades, or a 10-10 Jade count at the end. But he's going to go ahead and use the Hex now. He wants that the Operative to stay healthy. But as soon as we see that, Jade Claws is going to come down as well as the thing from below. And that is just some massive top deck fare from Exhope here. Now, I'm kind of curious to see if the Flame Tongue is going to come down as well, and what's he going to clear into with this? I think he just wants to get rid of the Agent, just so... Yeah, I don't know what too much is going to come out from this. He needs a Taunt Totem. No, the Healing Totem might actually help out. Is he going to get rid of the Operative? He's going to use the Jade Claws as well to go into it. Pretty heads-up play there, because now it's going to protect his thing from below. He is going to take 5 health, or 5 health and damage, but that's fine, because the Priest doesn't have any way of really doing burst damage. We do know he has at least one more Draconative Operative that he can try to pick something out, but at this point it's going to be like a Lightning Bolt or something fairly weak. And speaking of weak, that Defender of Argus is not really that good of a pickup. He's not going to really be able to do too much with that. He can't even clear into the Think from Below with that. So even just going ahead and trying to buffing your Bookworm isn't really worth it at this point. And he's staring about 16 damage right now. And if he can't deal anything with this turn, he has to hope that something happens next turn. And still, I don't think anything's going to happen. So this might just be a Defender of Argus to draw 2 of those attacks into those 2 minions there. And yeah, that's exactly it. He needs to draw a dragon, or at least some dragon activator for a big swing turn. And what is going to be... Oh, the Jade Spirit. That is massive, because that's going to be an 8/8 now on the board for X-Hope. And I don't think there's any big AoE clears out of the side of the Priest Frozen. And I don't know if there's a way. He's even winning in card count in his deck, so it's not like he's going to die in fatigue. I just think that X-Hope has this. I can't think of a way of Frozen coming back unless he Nether Spites Historian into a Deathwing at this point. He just needs something, and maybe that's what X-Hope's thinking of. What if he does get the Deathwing? It's a very rare possibility at this point. Maybe Frozen just naturally runs a Deathwing, but most people don't. So that would be very surprising if he does. And I wonder if that's out the only way that Frozen can win this game, because he's going to be staring at a 9/7 and an 8/8 on the board, as well as the 7/3. Think from Below is still up as well. Frozen needs a massive top deck here. It might just be over. Powered Shield is not it. So we do know that he gets a Dragon Activator, though, because we see the Bookworm. So it's going to be a Dragon. It's going to be a Drake. So he's going to have to clear off this Flame Tongue, but is that enough? He's going to be staring at 20 damage exactly, so he still needs to heal, but he's just going to surrender. So he's going to lose this first game. That's going to be X-Hope winning it, and that's just going to be the first game for us. Now, this was a 20-minute game, and I'm going to go back to the work that I have to do, but I'll be back tomorrow, and I will probably continue the series. I kind of watched the entire thing, so I will see you guys then. Thank you for watching.